So it was January 26th, 2017, and the Women's Initiative for Leading at Lilly asked me a really tough question. And the question was, what will you do? And for me, I tell you, the answer came fast. And I wrote it on this piece of paper. And it said, I will tell my story because my story is not about me. And a hero comes along. I was born on the island of Puerto Rico in a beautiful little barrio called El Condado to a Midwestern mama and a very Boricuan papa. For months, my parents languished over my name. We have a girl, should we give her 2 L's, should we give her 2 N's? On and on it went. And in the end, it was my mother who won this battle, Jelanna. But for months and years after that, my father chose to spell my name with 2 L's. In the true spirit of some Puerto Rican conquistador. When it was my mother's time to have me, those Latin nurses whisked her away to a delivery room and put her to sleep, as was the custom of that day. And when she awoke, I was here. But I had some obvious challenges. For one, my eyes didn't work right. From the moment an infant is expected to focus visually, I couldn't. And for 2, my feet, it didn't work right either. My toes pointed inwardly, and I struggled as I became more mobile to walk anywhere without crashing into absolutely everything. So I would expect life would have been pretty scary. And a surgery in the US was experimental. But a hero comes along. Our move to the US was the right one at the right time, though I'll tell you, my faint memories of a 7-Up sign high above the apartment building where we lived, the sound of this downtown choo-choo train, the smell of café con leche, and the song of the cookie will always remind me of my island. No change is ever easy, and for my mama, this one was especially scary. She was now moving thousands of miles to a tiny 2-room duplex in a not-so-great neighborhood in downtown Indianapolis with a special needs daughter, a new baby on the way, and a reality that her own mother had been diagnosed with this strange new form of dementia they called Alzheimer's. But a hero comes along. Fast forward a year and a half, and the surgery, one that involved removing my eye and tightening the muscles behind it and then placing it back in, is in the past. And in the present, a thick black pirate patch. Yep, to be worn over a small child's eye as often as possible in order for my eye to heal. And for those feet, shout it out, thick Buster Brown soled shoes. Anybody wear those? They were 10 pounds a piece at least, but they were designed to correct my tiny feet. Despite these challenges, my mother was surprised at how I began to explode with language and with mobility, with words in Spanish and English, getting them all mixed up, questions not necessarily waiting for answers. And as my Grandma, as I called her, as her condition continued to deteriorate, the light and the fire that my mother saw in my eyes, my ability to somehow say what my Grandma was thinking as she struggled, it emerged all at once. And a hero comes along. The abuse began early. What I can remember, I was about 8, a monster. One that lived close by, one that I loved and trusted, but yet brought fear and shame and doubt to my young heart. Is this a punishment? I would ask myself. Is this my fault? Is God mad at me? Oftentimes, to escape those fears, I would climb high into the trees above our little house. And there, I would watch as the birds would fly back and forth from treetop to treetop. And I would admire their sense of fearlessness, their sense of authenticity, just being them. And I would long for that in my life. I would long for that sense of worthiness and that ability to just be enough. But a hero comes along. My abuelita. Beautiful. Ginger, though you couldn't tell it here, she had strawberry blonde hair, so different than many Puerto Rican women. Strong, fierce, the product of her father's love for a young maiden 35 years younger than he. A woman who exuded passion and ran her house of 4 small children while she cared for her husband, while she ran a sewing business, all while loving all of us with every fiber in her being. My early memories of my abuelita surround la cocina, the kitchen. There we would laugh and I would pretend to cook and she would actually do it. But we would sing, and there she would tell me these words. The people, she would say, the people, they change. The people, they make you the pain the one time. And this be their shame. They make you the pain the 2 times, and this be your shame. Tears streamed down my face the day that Abuelita gave me these words of wisdom, because I knew that change would have to happen, but that change would have to start with me. So let's fast forward 20 years, and a window overlooking the beautiful, dreamlike city of Venice, Italy, opened in front of my eyes, and I stared across those terracotta rooftops. My eyes, well, they no longer needed glasses or that big, thick pirate patch. And on my feet, some little Italian stilettos, since I was in Venice, but no longer the Buster Brown sold shoe days. And with the help of my abuelita, my mama, my papa, my 2 sisters, my brother, and with the strength that I receive from these boys that are sitting right here, Cameron and Mason and Brett, I had accomplished something very unconventional, raising 3 small sons, receiving a master's degree from one of the best business schools in the country, working for one of the largest consulting firms in the world at the time. And somehow I found myself at that point dedicated to a client who I now work for, who was passionate about making lives better. And yet, as I stood and stared out that window, I agonized over a relationship that I knew had toxicity and unhealthiness to it. And I knew that my choices would affect these 3 sons of mine, would affect my life forever. But there, as I stood and thought about those choices, there again were the birds, reminding me of my true sense of fearlessness that I showed as such a small child. My ability to just be authentic. I longed for that again. I wanted the ability to just be enough. And I knew that with that set of authenticity, with that set of reality in my life, that there would be little that I would not be able to accomplish. So I challenge each and every one of you now, as you think about what we're here today, think about who the true sense of who you are is, and bring the very best of you to each and every choice that you have.
Y como libra corazón nos enciende cada temor, cada fracasos y maldad, cada batallas que ganar, en cada paz y el amor nos convierte en luchador y descubres lo común. No hay un héroe como tú. And then a hero comes along with the strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive.